Valerie Woods knew she was standing in the wrong dress the moment the cathedral doors opened. The lace hugged her body too perfectly, too expensively, custom-fitted for a woman who had vanished 3 days ago. White roses lined the aisle in disciplined rows, their fragrance heavy in the air, cloying and suffocating. Every guest rose to their feet, hundreds of them, powerful men and polished women turning as one. They weren't looking at her. They were looking for Vanessa Woods. Valerie's fingers tightened around the bouquet, the stems biting into her palms. Somewhere behind her, the organ thundered, drowning out the pounding of her heart. Step by step, she walked forward, each movement feeling like a betrayal she hadn't chosen. This wasn't her wedding. It was her sentence. At the altar stood Terry Kings. He didn't smile. He didn't fidget. He simply watched her approach with cool, unreadable eyes, sharp as glass, dark as a locked vault. The most powerful CEO in the city. A man whose name could make banks tremble and competitors disappear overnight. The man her sister was supposed to marry. Valerie felt the weight of his gaze settle on her like judgment. He knew. She was certain of it. Men like Terry Kings always knew when something was off, when a deal wasn't clean. Yet he said nothing. Not when she reached the altar. Not when her trembling hand slid into his steady one. Not when the priest began to speak. Her mother sat in the front row, eyes shining with relief, fingers clasped tightly around her purse. Her father wouldn't meet her gaze at all. They had begged. No, prešćer. Crying, pleading, reminding her of debts, of properties already seized, of creditors circling like vultures. If this wedding doesn't happen, her father had whispered, voice cracking, we lose everything. They hadn't said Vanessa's name out loud. They didn't need to. Vanessa had run. Valerie swallowed hard as the vows echoed around her, hollow and distant. She barely remembered saying, I do. The words felt stolen from her mouth. When Terry leaned in to kiss her, the world seemed to pause. The kiss was brief, polite, businesslike, and somehow that hurt more than if it had been cruel. Applause erupted. Cameras flashed. Valerie forced a smile that burned her cheeks as Terry turned to face the crowd. His hand firm at the small of her back, possessive without affection. She was officially Mrs. Terry Kings. The limousine ride was silent. Valerie stared out the tinted window as the city blurred past. Her reflection ghosted over glass towers and passing lights. Terry sat opposite her, composed, removing his cufflinks with precise movements. "You did well," he said finally. The words startled her. She turned, confusion flickering across her face. "Excuse me?" "You didn't flinch. You didn't cry. You didn't embarrass either of us." He placed the cufflinks neatly into their case. "That's efficient. Efficient." Her fingers curled into her skirt. "I didn't do this for appearances." "I know." His eyes lifted to hers, sharp, assessing. "You did it because you had no choice." Her breath caught. "So let's be clear, Valerie," Terry continued calmly. "This marriage is a contract. Nothing more." The car slowed as iron gates opened ahead, revealing an estate that looked more like a fortress than a home. "There will be rules," he said. "You'll live here. You'll attend events when required. You won't speak to the press unless approved. And you won't involve yourself in my business." "And you?" she asked quietly. "I'll keep your family solvent," he replied. "Every debt cleared. Every threat erased." The car stopped. He met her gaze fully now, his voice lowering. "In return, you won't fall in love with me. And you won't expect me to fall in love with you." Valerie forced herself to nod, even as something tight and painful twisted in her chest. "Good," Terry said, opening the door. "Then we won't complicate things.